Burton is working hard trying to get the lead of this race. He had his hands full the last time off turn 4.
Here comes Burton on the outside of Kevin Harvick.
It's going to be a drag race between those two guys.
I believe Burton might get him down on that bottom.
Jeff Burton is a team player. He wants to win, but he wants to see Richard Childress racing in victory lane.
Our goals are, number 1 is to make the chase, number 2 to win a championship.
Who better to elaborate on all of that than my guest? Joining us now from Martinsville, Jeff Burton. Welcome back to Wind Tunnel. Nice to see you. Thanks for your time.
Hey, man, it's good to be back.
Let me ask you, does the rain out change your life in any significant fashion? Race tomorrow, race today, does it make any difference to you?
That part doesn't matter. I like to be home with my kids this evening, but you know, it's you know, as far as when we race Monday versus Sunday, it doesn't matter to us. The big thing is just, you know, all the fans that paid for tickets and can't be here tomorrow because they got to go to work. That's really bad for those guys and the number of people that were going to watch it on TV that can't now. But the guys, they can DVR it, but the guys that paid their money to get here and can't be here tomorrow, that's not good for them.
Always the case when there's a rain out. We've already acknowledged that we are pre-recording this interview. What we didn't point out is the huge advantage for you in that you'll be able to go out and celebrate the big Duke victory over Baylor, which is going to be happening in a few hours from now as we record this, but will have already happened by the time it airs. Got any big plans along that line?
Well, we don't celebrate until the victory, you know, but it does allow me to watch the game where I probably, you know, I wouldn't have been able to watch it before. I've been in a DVR, but I wouldn't have been able to watch it live. So I'm ready to spend the afternoon doing nothing.
I didn't want to jinx your favorite team in any way there, but we wish them luck tonight. Let's be serious. There was a lot of fuss about NASCAR's decision that the Sprint Cup cars should shed their wings this week and the spoiler coming back. I'm curious, I'm assuming it's not a big deal at Martinsville. I'm wondering if it's a big deal elsewhere. Do you see this as a significant technical change, or is it primarily cosmetic?
I see it as a technical change. There's no question. I mean, you don't take a wing off and put a spoiler on without affecting the cars. I think NASCAR has done a really good job in trying to minimize the amount it affects the cars. But there's no question that from a technical standpoint, the air flows over the car differently with a wing. It flows under the car differently with a wing. The thing that we really don't know, and the big question out there, we can test all we want by ourselves, but the big question out there is what happens when we all get on the racetrack together and we're racing side by side, racing nose to tail, when they're actually going to give someone a trophy rather than just racing for to see who can go fast at a test. The spoiler in the past in traffic has been very difficult. When two cars are running the same speed, it's been very, very difficult to try to get underneath somebody and get the car to stick. We have never had a spoiler on this car. This car has longer quarter panels than we've ever had, has a bigger greenhouse than we've ever had. We don't really know what to expect. And anybody that says they do, either they have access to technology that we don't have, or they're just guessing. And I'm suspect to anyone that says they know what's going to happen. The cars drive good by themselves with the spoiler, no question. What they do in traffic, we have no idea.
Why on earth, then, when you all went to Charlotte Motor Speedway this week, why didn't you get out there in a big pack and go drafting and find out the answers to all those questions?
Well, because what we have to do as race teams is with not being able to test is we have to gather as much data as possible. So your next question is, well, why don't you gather the data while you're running with other people? But the reality of it is the faster we make our race car, the faster it's going to be. And so we spend all our time there collecting data and collecting information so that we can race. The reality of it is we don't race side by side very often. I mean, really, we race nose to tail all the time. And the better you can make your car by yourself, the better it's going to be behind another car, the better it's going to be in front of another car. And if your car's not fast enough, you're never going to be in front of anybody. So the main focus is making your car go fast.
I guess that all makes sense. We're going to take a commercial break on that. We'll come back and talk about...
Good excuse anyway, right?
Oh, okay. Now we get to the truth. Jeff Burton will continue his conversation right after the commercial, which starts right about now. Let's welcome Jeff Burton back to the conversation. Continue to talk about NASCAR. Let's change the subject and get into the whole business of driver retaliation and all the excitement that's come about in the wake of the Atlanta thing. And then Bristol, which was fairly uneventful on that score. let me ask you, has driver etiquette, in your opinion, significantly changed as a result of NASCAR's announcement to take the gloves off, have at it, boys, the whole business of you guys behaving differently on the track? Do you think we're really going to see different behavior?
I think there's a feeling out process. You know what I mean? I think people are trying to understand what that really means. Honestly, when I look at the way NASCAR polices the sport, the number of times that NASCAR steps in and penalizes a driver for doing something to another driver, I would venture to bet is in maybe the 5 percentile range. It's very low. You've got to do something repeatedly, and you got to do something very, very aggressive to get NASCAR to penalize you. And I'm okay with that. I think that there's a line you can cross, and NASCAR should step in. As long as I've been in the sport, Dave, it's always been self-policing. If the reason that every corner, every lap, every race, someone doesn't get spun out is because if you do that, you're going to get spun out. And that works. There comes a point where NASCAR's got to step in because some drivers have to have it. But really, honestly, it kind of polices itself, and I haven't viewed this year any different than any other year. But when the president of NASCAR, when the officials of NASCAR are saying, have at it, boys, you got to wonder in the back of your mind, what does that mean? And you know, and some people go figure that out. And we're all watching. You know, some people learn by doing, some people learn by watching. And there's a lot of people watching others to figure out exactly what it is they can do.
There's been a lot of talk about Keselowski needing to earn the respect of his elders. I don't want you to comment on that. I want you to tell me the story about how the Iron Man Jack Ingram, the legendary tough guy in what is now called the NASCAR Nationwide Series, taught you a little lesson about respect.
Well, and the difference between today and then is, like, I've asked Jack about it, and he doesn't even remember it. And you know what? There wasn't a television camera. There were no media. Nobody knew about it. And he doesn't even remember it. And you know, that to me says how different it was. I actually went down to straighten Jack out. I was going to let him know the way things were going to be. And I learned real quick that things are going to be the way that he said they were going to be. And he had me literally off the ground, not in my race car, personally off the ground. And you know, here's a young kid who never had to worry about where, you know, I never had to worry if I was going to have a roof over my head or anything like that. And I'm going down to yap to a guy that's racing to put food on his table, you know. And he let me know real quick the way things are going to be, and it was good for me. And he taught me a lesson, and I was able to learn it by myself. I didn't have millions of people watching it, and I didn't have a lot of people want to talk about it. And you know, that was a good thing about growing up racing like that versus having to grow up, you know. The rookies today, they grow up under constant scrutiny, and that would be a hard way to make mistakes in front of everybody.
We got a tunnelhead named Craig Lilly who sent in an email. He says, what are RCR's chances of making the chase, and what was the cause of the turnaround this year as opposed to last? I would expand that question. First 2 years of the chase, RCR didn't have a single car in. Then for 3 years, they had at least 2 in. Last year, no car in the chase. Now this year, all 3 running well with Harvick leading the points. What's going on? Why the roller coaster? Well,
that's a great question, and honestly, you know, when I first got to Richard Childress Racing, you know, Richard said, look, we're struggling. We're not where we need to be. We need to get where we need to be. And there was a big effort into getting the company built to the way the company needs to run. And we did a nice job. Everybody pitched in. We made the company a lot better. Then going into last year, when NASCAR changed the rules about testing, that took away a lot of our advantage. No, I don't want to say advantage, but took away a lot of what we did well. We tested a lot. Very blue-collar team. Work. When we couldn't do that anymore, we got behind. So we had to go and invest in a lot of technology. We had to invest more in engineering, more being able to test without having to go to the racetrack to test. And so now we're kind of caught back up to people, and we're starting to run it like we're supposed to run. You know, I don't look at the last 3 years prior to last year as being the odd years. I look at last year as being the odd year. Last year was a year that we weren't able to do the things that we normally can do at RCR. And, you know, we just got behind, and we're still a little bit behind. We're not, you know, we haven't won the races. We haven't done the things we need to do, but we have made up a lot of ground.
Well, with the team leading in the championship and all 3 of you in contention for the chase, things are looking pretty bright for the moment. Go out there and win the thing tomorrow. We appreciate your time tonight. Good luck to the basketball team.
All right, I appreciate it. Great show. I love watching you show. It's fun to see all the different kinds of motorsports that you guys show. It's good for all the race fans to know there's more than just one form of racing.